Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Sing Fu Shan. This is episode 4 in my series of Lucky Mountain, where I am building a Chinese inspired scene that's going to have a suspended coaster and a covered ride and lots of Chinese inspired scenery. So, today, what we're going to be doing is I got a bunch of comments on Shy Guys World. I got a few comments asking if I was ever going to start a actual building in this build, and the answer is yeah, I'm getting to it. So here we go. We're starting a building this time. You can see I started off just choosing different pieces to see what I thought was going to look the best. What we're making first is a little kind of food place where people can go in and get some food, and then they can take it outside. I'm probably going to put some benches and chairs and so forth outside. This is meant to be, by the way, fairly simple. The station of the coaster and the ride skin for the ride are meant to be really the standout buildings in this park, the things that are really noteworthy. So I wanted something obviously that looks Chinese, but I didn't want it to be so grand and extravagant that it took away from that. And plus, it's going to be at the entrance, so it's supposed to kind of, along with the dragon and the screens, give you the idea of what's coming, but at the same time not be something that's going to cause the person to come in and gasp or anything like that. So this build took a while. The screens and the dragon took a long time, but the footage I did in the last episode definitely did not. Now, right here, you can see I just made a sort of a skeleton of what I wanted the roof to look like, and then I got started working on it. And this is what was really took me a long time. Yeah, this took like probably 8, 9 hours. I wanted to save on the piece count in this because the roofs that I made for the Pai Fong, which is the entrance gate, and for the screens, that roof is almost 4,000 pieces. It looks really good, but that's a lot of pieces, even for a small park like this. And if I'm going to have a bunch of these kind of roofs, I didn't know if it was necessarily wise to use that many pieces on them. So what I wanted to do was try to do something a little less piece intensive this time. So I am not 100% sold on how this roof came out. Fortunately, I did get some feedback today from Ruble Trillions, actually on the Bro Coaster Discord channel, and he gave me one piece of advice I think that I'm actually going to use. I'll probably go back and fool with this building a little bit and just implement one of the things that he suggested to add some vertical elements to this roof versus these horizontal beams that I use. So, and it's a way that I can do it and still save on pieces. So I think I'm going to give it a try. But I will say for the station, I've shown a picture in a previous episode of what it's going to look like. I'm going to go all out, balls to the wall for that. It's going to look really good, and it's probably going to be really piece intensive. But it's the station. It's the main focal point of the entire build. It's the whole reason I wanted to even do this little miniature area. So I'm definitely going to go all out on that. And this little building doesn't turn out bad by any means. It looks okay. I did learn those flying eaves that we discussed in a previous episode, which are the points on the roof. If you haven't seen that episode, that go up in the corners, are the construction technique behind them has been eluding me a little bit. So I spent a lot of time looking at just pictures of them, which I'd done before, but just really looking at pictures and trying to absorb how they were built. And I think I have a much better idea of how they were done now. So in the next builds that I do for this, I think it'll be even better. This one is so-so. But I'm okay with that because, again, this is supposed to be kind of, I don't want to say nondescript, but it's definitely not supposed to be one of the highlights. It's supposed to be a building that's there and people can go in and out, and it's going to be nestled in the trees and so forth. When I do the glamour shots at the end, I'll put up a few trees just so you can see what it's going to look like. So if it doesn't look 100% just jaw-dropping, that's fine because it's not meant to be that. So hopefully I will develop even more build techniques that I can use when I actually get to the station. So the plans for this build, once we finish this up, it's going to be sitting on a little concrete perch, which a lot of the traditional buildings that I looked at, the traditional Chinese buildings, particularly from the Song Dynasty, which is what my inspiration is coming from, were made of stone and wood and so forth. And oftentimes these buildings sit on a sort of a stone, almost concrete looking platform. So this one is going to sit on something very similar. You'll see at the end that I did try putting it on wood just to see what it looked like. At first I liked the natural look of it, but I thought it clashed with the building itself, and so when I tried the rough concrete, it made the building stand out more. So it's going to be sitting on a little platform. There's going to be steps leading up to it to just kind of give it some level of prominence without it being being too prominent. And then I'll be putting pads and so forth. So in the next episode, finally, we have built this building. We have 4 shops in here. The next episode, I'm going to do something a little less labor intensive and something I really enjoy doing, and I find it relaxing. And that's just kind of doing the scenery and all that sort of thing around the front area. So finally, we're going to start bringing this into a sort of a cohesive whole, at least the left side of it. I haven't decided because this building, by the way, is going on the left side of the main entrance circle right there. I haven't decided whether or not I'm just going to copy this building to the other side or not. I may and I may not. I'm not 100% certain. That would be a very easy thing to do and to put in bathrooms and so forth. But at the same time, I do want this building to be kind of special. I want this whole build to be special because of the several factors. One being that I'm a big fan of Chinese architecture and art, and I really enjoy it a lot, so I want to do justice to it. And also because I have said in the description that I'm dedicating this entire building, this entire build actually, to a friend of mine named Chi, who died last year. So this is kind of a way to memorialize him in a way that something that I can do well. So I want to do a good job with it. So I think rather than copying this building over and taking the cheesy way out, I might do something else. So after I made the first structure, which was the Paifong with the flying eaves, I was like, I never want to have to make that again because it was a pain in the butt. This one I found to be a little bit easier to make than that one was. Granted, it doesn't turn out quite as well, but I'm thinking that I'm going to definitely develop some new techniques for doing this. And I want it to be, I don't want to take the cheap way out with it. So we're definitely, I think, going to make some different buildings instead of just copying and pasting this around in the front. So but we will finish this one up, and so the next episode, just to maintain my sanity, because this takes so long, and I do actually feel a lot of pressure because I've been trying to put out videos on the schedule, and some videos take longer than others. Obviously this one took a long time, so I was worried that I wasn't going to have time to do it, and plus I've been going to a lot of parks, and as well I'm participating in a build project on Bro Coaster, a community build project, and our group's turn to have the park is this coming week. So I won't have nearly as much time to work on this, most likely. I'll still get something out, don't worry. The next thing I have to do is the next video of the Siren Song, and that tends to be simpler to do than this. It's not nearly as taxing. So I'll definitely have that out, and plus it'll be easier, I think, if I'm doing the sort of scenery and so forth around this building rather than making a brand new building. So all in all, it's a long way of saying, in the next episode, we're going to just try to make the front a little more cohesive. There's going to be foliage work and so forth. But to this build, the bottom part, I think, turned out pretty well. I like the way that it looks. I spent a little while fooling around with different designs for trying to make the walls and so forth look Chinese, using Chinese decorations and so forth. And a lot of these buildings are highly decorated, extremely intricate woodwork and designs, so I'm trying to mimic that as much as possible, but we'll also keep this relatively simple because, like I said, it's supposed to be a food court. So I think this was fairly successful. I think I can do better on the next one, but I'm satisfied with this for now for what it's supposed to be. If you have any feedback, of course, as always, feel free to leave comments. I always welcome feedback, especially if it's constructive or if you have ways that I can improve anything. I would really appreciate to hear that because I do want this to turn out well. I'll also have some videos coming up of some trips. I just released a video on Thursday of my review of the Phoenix at Knoebels Grove. It's such a great ride. You got to go ride it, blah, blah, blah. I was really able to get a lot of good footage at Knoebels Grove, and I had a great time there. So I'll have some more about that. I'll have something about Dorney Park. And then in 2 weeks' time, I'll be going to a big coaster trip all over the place. So I'll be getting a lot of footage from that. So let's see here. We're inside the building now. This is one thing you can see. I was not going all out on the interior. I did make a lamp for in here, and I used basically the same sort of the way that I originally made the lanterns, which are really popular. Every time anyone sees them, they really like them a lot. I thought they turned out okay. This thing looks ridiculous right there. It looked like a little snout to me, so I changed it over to this. And I'm not sure I like that all that much. It was just trying to bring some decoration in here, some gold to kind of complement everything else that's gold, but it's so to me. But I'm not going all out on the interior of this. It's just a little food area, so I'm not going to do anything too special in there. I think I will, obviously inside the station once we get there, and inside the ride skin, it'll be much more ornate and just really almost rococo. But for this little food court, this will do. So what's going to happen? Let's see. We'll be putting it on a platform here. Oh, I've already put the platform down. All right, so now I'm just putting everything together. I'm going to put up some, just for the sake of the video, the glamour shots, I'll put up some trees around it and so forth so it looks halfway decent. And then, like I said, on the next episode, we'll really start working on just kind of beautifying the main entrance to the park. So that is going to be pretty much it for this episode. Stay tuned because this build is going well. I think it's going to continue to go well, and I really would like your feedback. I've definitely developed quite a few people following this, so stay tuned and see what's coming up with it because I think it's going to go well. But otherwise, I will end with some glamour shots, and I'll talk to you next time. Enjoy the ride.